بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نويت التعلم والتعليم وتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله سنة رسوله والدعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. وبعد. So we continue from last week. Min ta'atil ma'asil jawarih. So we completed ma'asil jawarih. But then I'd like to add, since last week, we discussed a bit about the what is halal and haram on food, right? Meat and non-meat. So I have the breakdown. Ma tahillu minal hayawan wa ma yahrumu. So what is halal and haram in the meat and non-meat? So from the meat section, the meat. So meat, animals. What animals can we eat? This is purely based on Shafi'i, and not many. There are a few khilaf also, but I won't mention too many. Just straightforward, basic stuff. So tahir is so what is permissible from animals. Kullu tahir illa al-adami wal himar wal bagal. So everything tahir is halal. Everything tahir from the animals halal, except for human being, adami, and donkeys, himar, and bagal. Bagal is the mule. Mule is from when horse and donkey, mama tawallat minhuma, from the spring of horse and donkey. So that's called mule, bagal. So those are the basics. Then himar, everything tahir is halal except for human being and whatever is when there is nas and other sections also lah. So first category, everything tahir from the animal section, except for human being because they are muhtaram. Muhtaram we cannot. That means respected, honored. So you cannot eat human being. Tahir is clean, clean and what is that? Another word is pure. Yes. Wal himar wan nahi anhu minan Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Himar, donkeys, is not permissible because there is a nahi from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a hadith saying you cannot eat himar. And bagal, because it's from the what? The offspring of himar. So cannot. Then that settle. That category is the basic one. Then wamas tukhbita. This is what you asked me. Wamas tukhbita. Istikhbat. Wamas tukhbita kadud wadubab. Dud is worm. That is benda yang macam jijik, geli. Wamas tukhbita. Khabat. Khabat mean apa? Jijik. Filthy. Filth. Apa ya? What's a good word? Gross, maybe. Wamas tukhbita kadud wadubab. Dud, worm, and flies. Dubab. So this is the basic wamas tukhbita. So that will include bugs and all lah. These are things that you wouldn't want to eat. So ni penjelasan tak ya. Then the next one is wadinab minas siba wan namar. So these are the fangs, animals with fangs, and they are categorized under the fangs, but they are actually due to the beast the beastie nature of them. That's why we cannot eat them. Like tigers, lions, crocodiles, and all this. They are like they are what? Carnivorous. Carnivorous. They are wild and beastie. So one of the what distinguish the features is the fangs. So the next category is the mikhlab min at-tayr kas-sagar. Mikhlab means claws. Mikhlab. Apa? Talent. Oh, okay. Chim. I said talent. Okay. I said easy word is claws. Kan? Talent claws. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So like from birds, talent from those birds who with talents. So these are like eagles and hawks, all these things. So you cannot eat them. Parrot also, whatever with claws, talon. Talon. Bird, what?
Dia kira kan macam swoop down to attack macam burung kecil ni tak yang apa?
The mikhlaq min at-tayr kas-sagar. Okay. Then the next category is wamanuhiya an gatlihi kal khuttaf wa difda. These are the animals that there is nas Rasulullah SAW prohibit us from killing them. These are like frogs and hudhud. No, hudhud is what? Pigeon. No. Apa? What's the hoopoe? Hudhud. I said hudhud. Hoopoe. I don't know the names. The parrot. We cannot eat. We cannot. Frog because they also cannot live in the sea. They go to the sea for a while and they come up again. They live on land. Near the nas. Those with apa? Allah Alam. What's the nas? I'm not too sure. But no, I'm not too sure. Bawasil nahya an gadlihi. There is a prohibition. Mariam. There is a prohibition of killing them. So these are the category. This is the in this category we cannot eat these kind of animals. Then the next category wama umira bigatlihi kal hay'ah wal fa'ra. So snakes and rats. Rat, rodent, whatever are all same category. Fa'ra. So in this category we are asked to kill them. Like macam ada khamsa
disease.
Yes. So some of them rats, then scorpions, snakes, all these we cannot eat because there's a nas asking us to kill them, but not to eat them, just kill because they are pests. Then for worm, it's permissible to eat if they are found within the fruits cover. This kind of worm, they originate from the fruit itself, not from outside. They crawl into the fruit. Once they crawl into the fruit, then you cannot eat them. But if they originate inside because of some bacteria, whatever, the eggs, whatever, then they grow inside and it's like the fruit worm, something like that. In some fruits you can find this kind of thing because it's very hard to remove them. So this one ma'fu, you can eat, but not ants, cannot, because ants definitely they are from outside, they come in, so they cannot eat. So that's the basic. That's the basic, clear lah. Hopefully clear lah. There's a basic for whatever we can eat and what we cannot eat. So the rest, just now haram kan, wama yahrumu. Then wama yahlu, itu from the animal punya part lah. Then the rest are basic lah, yang bukan animal ni macam najis we cannot eat. Then mudarat, if there is mudarat can cause you problem, then you cannot eat, it becomes haram. Then the rest, they follow the origin, they follow the Arabs of that time. So I don't want to go into too long lah, but that's the basic lah. So the next one we move on. Ma'asiyul lisan, the vices of the tongue. Ma'asiyul lisan, so the matan wa ma'asiyul lisan kathiratun aidan, mithlul ghibah wa hiya dhikruka akhaka muslima bima yakrahu wa in kunta sadiqan, wan namimah wal kadhib wa syatam was-sab wal la'ni wa ghairiha. So the vices of the tongue are numerous. They include backbiting, which is to mention something about your brother Muslim brother or sister that they would not like if it be true. Slander, lies, insult, syatam, abuse, sab, wala yasubbu, ada dalam Quran. Ini Quran wala yasubbu apa? Cursing and many things beside this. Apa ni?
Kalau riba dan Muslim.
Itu nanti ya ikut. So nanti we go through riba first, then we go through Muslim or non-Muslim. But normally in the riba, the definition is to backbite a Muslim brother. That is called riba. Based on what I said, if non-Muslim, they have another. Imam Ghazali had a breakdown on this. For Muslim, definitely cannot lah. Because of three things. We cannot riba a Muslim, because they are, firstly is they are khalqullah. So because of the backbiting will hurt the Muslim brother. So that is yu'di nas. So you are causing pain to that person. Because of that, haram. Then the second one is because you are like insulting the creation of Allah. That is Imam Ghazali says it's better not to insult, macam this guy is short, this guy is too tall, all this creation of Allah, but makruh to say that. Then the third one is because it's a waste of time to backbite. So because of these three reasons, for Muslims is definitely haram. There's no way out lah. Unless you are, there's the only rukhsah is when someone is getting married. And the person asks you, hey, do you know this guy? And you say, yeah, you know. And how is he? Then you must tell the truth. Oh, this guy is his akhlak not so good. You tell the basic aja. Don't macam ni gini. Macam too many details. Don't tell too many details. But just say I wouldn't marry. I wouldn't choose him, for example, for you or something like that, or just to let you know he is like this. But up to you to choose the minimal. You give the minimum aja. That's the only rukhsah you can backbite a Muslim brother or sister because of marriage, because you don't want the person to be blinded or to be macam kena tipu. That's the only reason. Other than that, cannot. Then for Muslim, for dhimmi, Muslim, kafir, who is living in a Muslim land. But nowadays, this thing macam don't apply lah. Dhimmi is like in Singapore is like kafir aman. Is aman. They don't disturb us, we don't disturb them, and we are living peacefully together. So these are not considered dhimmi, because kafir dhimmi is they pay jizya. Someone like a Saudi. Saudi is a Muslim state. So let's say if a kafir want to stay there, they can allow kafir, then they pay tax to the Muslims. That's the dhimmi. But nowadays you cannot find this anymore. So then dhimmi, the hukum is the same as Muslim, because of there's many hadith saying that like you must protect them as a person staying in their land paying jizya. So like you protect a Muslim, you protect them also. Same ruling. But harbi different. You can backbite the harbi, but not insult the characteristic, the macam the creation lah. Macam this guy, his eyes, he got one eye only. Macam itu macam insult lah. So this thing they say it's better not to, but if you do, it's not considered a riba. Not considered riba. And lastly, they said, Imam Ghazali say, why it's better not to? It's a waste of time. It doesn't matter. You riba him or you don't. You talk about him. You don't talk about him. Doesn't matter. So might as well don't talk about him. Although he's harbiyah, because Rasulullah SAW ada a few the hadith. Rasulullah SAW like make known the what is that, the aib of the kuffar, because they are widespread. Macam the kafir drinks alcohol. You can say, oh, ni kafir, he drinks alcohol. It's not backbiting, because to them it's nothing. It's nothing drinking alcohol. But for a Muslim, if you see a Muslim drink alcohol, then you shouldn't tell everyone. You should apa nama dia, conceal his aib. So okay, there are many verses in the Quran and also hadith reminding us on the vices of the tongue. So having a tongue is one of the many blessings that Allah has given us. In ayat Quran apa? In tu'udu ni'matallahi la tuhsuha. So should you attempt to count the blessing of Allah, you won't be able to. So we use tongue in our everyday life and all. So it should be for obedience to Allah, like reciting Quran and prayer and all this. Of course, we can do the permissible things like talk, jokes, and all these things. But it's meant for Allah give us the tongue. So we should at least be thankful to Allah, to use it in the way that is permitted by Allah, and not use it to what is forbidden to us. So in the Quran, Allah said one is responsible for what he hears, sees, and believes, and also Raqib and Atid write down every uttered word. These are both in the Quran. And the Hadith, Rasulullah SAW said, a person may utter a word he thinks harmless, which results in his falling depth of 70 years into hellfire. So he thought it's okay, he just passed a remark, but that could be a gossip, a backbiting, riba, or what, a slander, but he meant as a joke. So this is the danger of the tongue. So some of the ulama say, if you can guard your tongue, then you're safe. So it's the hardest thing to guard. And when you, before you talk, you are in control of your tongue. But once you talk, the tongue is in control of you. So think before you talk. This is I think one of, I can't remember, Sayyidina Ali or some of the kalam. Then hadith also, one can greatly beautify himself with two habits, good manners and lengthy silence. And one more hadith, let the one who believes in Allah and the hereafter utter good words, or let him be silent. So alhasil, everything is about keeping silence. If you don't have anything good to say? Be quiet. Imam Shafi'i once advised his companion Rabi'. He said, do not haphazardly speak without a need. Once uttered, you no longer control the words. This is the one. Once uttered, you no longer control the words, but they control you. So this is kalam Imam Shafi'i. That is one. Once you speak, a word will be either for your benefit, a good thing, or it can be sinful. Then it will be written against you. So, the ulama said the tongue is like a beast. If you do not tie it up, it attacks you. So the vices of the tongue in this kitab, Abi Ahmad mentioned 6 and plus many more. He said. So first one is backbiting, riba, slander. Slander is namima. Slender namimah. No, namimah is fire starter. Fire starter apa? Slender is like fitnah lah. False accusation. Yeah. Then number 3 is lies. Then shatam, insults, abuse, sab. Abuse and insult. Shatam and sab, Imam Nawawi say is the same thing. Then number 6, cursing. Then many more, many others. Imam Ghazali have broken down, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 20 in here. So he broke down all 20 vices of the tongue. Imam Haddad punya book also have apa tu? Book of intention. No, book of assistance. No. Nasaidinia, I think. Either one, Nasaidinia or So riba, first you go to riba. They include riba, backbiting, which is to mention something about your Muslim brother or sister that they would not like it if it is true. So the Quran says, and do not spy nor backbite one another. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of their dead brother? You would despite that. Ni apa? Wala tajassasu wala yaghtab ba'dukum ba'da. Ayuhibbu an ya'kula lahma akhihi fakarihtumu. You would despise that fakarihtumu. So apa ayakula lahma akhihi. You would, it's like gossiping is like eating your brother's flesh. Dead flesh. In the Quran said, do not backbite, do not spy. That's why wala tajassasu kat nubat jasus wala tajassasu. So do not spy nor backbite one another. Then in the hadith, Rasulullah said, all of a Muslim is forbidden to a Muslim, his blood, his property, and his honor. And riba is of 73 kinds, the least of which is like a man having intercourse with his mother. That's the least of it. The worst riba is for a man to insult a Muslim. So it's worse than it's like Rasulullah SAW in this hadith, he's comparing it to having an intercourse with the person's own mother, and that's the least. That's the least level of riba of the 73 kinds. And the worst kind of riba is like to insult a man, a Muslim man. So in this hadith you can see that riba and riba is like is a really big sin. But riba is not every riba is considered big sin. Like basic is considered, is not considered a big sin. The ulama say those considered a big sin is riba, like you riba a pious man, a wali, you riba the wali, then it's considered a big sin. But if like normal macam just riba about like let's say the characters or the height of the person, then it's considered a small sin. So riba can be in many forms. So we must be vigilant not to fall in any, because riba can be like what is that? Can be many forms. Like you the straightforward one is the riba lah. You just talk about about anyone behind the back. But another form is like you say you like lead the conversation to the riba, like let's say this man he he is he is smelly lah, let's say. Oh, he is stingy. He is stingy. Then he came. Then he's stingy. He came. Then he let's say got donation. Then he don't want to donate. Then he went away. He refused to donate. No, I don't want to donate. Then he went. He went away. Then after he went away, you say apa? Naudzubillah minal apa? Apa nama? Naudzubillah minal bukhul. I seek protection from bukhul. I seek protection from Allah from bukhul, from stinginess. That means you are implying that he is stingy. So that's also considered riba, because you are directing that remark to him is considered riba also. So these are the subtle ways of doing riba, and there are many like hand sign riba can be riba. But if you don't say a person's name, but then you give clues until people around you, when you talk about, I don't want to say the person's name lah, but gini, you talk about him, he's like this, like this, but I don't want to mention lah. Then, but you give too many clues, his height, his whatever, his situation, his place, until everybody knows who you are talking about. That's considered riba, because the person knows, everybody knows who you are talking about. But if you attack general, like you don't mention name, then it's not riba. As long as people do not know who you are talking about, but you are attacking, you are addressing the problem, not the person. So once the Prophet SAW, example, once the Prophet was told that two men fasted all the time but slandered others, he said, "Spit." They did and brought out pieces of flesh. So these are like the specialty of the Prophet SAW. He says, "Spit," and really it manifests. The ayat Quran say kan, if you riba, it's like eating the flesh of your own brother. So when the Prophet SAW says, "Spit," the person brought out pieces of flesh. Then the Quran also say, ni dah. Okay. Riba can apa? Sayyidina Aisyah also. Sayyidina Aisyah said to the Prophet, "Is it not enough in a hadith? Is it not enough that Sophia should be such and such?" Then she did something with her hand, like macam implying that Sophia is short. Sophia is the Prophet SAW other wives, other wife. So the Prophet SAW said, "You have said such a word that were it to be mixed with the ocean, it would alter the ocean." So he's telling her that you have just made a riba. Then Abdullah bin Mas'ud reported, he was sitting with the Prophet SAW when a man stood to leave. Another man spoke badly about him after he left. So the Prophet said, "Pick your teeth." The man said, "O Messenger of Allah, why should I pick my teeth? I have not eaten meat." And he said, "You have eaten you have just eaten the flesh of your own brother." That means you have just riba the guy. So the Prophet SAW say, "Take a toothpick, clear your teeth." So ajib juga ni. Then Imam Haddad said, "If you notice a fault or failing in your brother Muslim, and you think that it can be remedied, you should advise him in private. But if you can't, then that fault lies in you. So now you have one fault already, because you cannot settle this thing. So do not add another problem for yourself by exposing him to others. So if you have already one fault, because you cannot You cannot talk to him in private. You have no skills or whatever. You don't have the skills or the what capability to do that, to remedy, to settle this problem. Then now you create another problem by telling, I go to someone, this person, I think I can help him, but I cannot, I don't know why. And then you tell someone. Then now two person knows about his aib. So you are creating more problems. So if you don't know, you keep quiet. You cannot do anything, you keep quiet. If you can do something, you talk to him in private. So listening to riba is also haram, same. One should walk away if one hears it. And the reasons for most of the torture in the grave are gossip, that is riba, namima, tail bearing, and not clearing oneself from urine. These are the three top, according to one hadith, one narration. So that's all for riba. So we have went through tadi yang the Muslim, non-Muslim, the went through. So the next one is slander, buhtan or slander or slander buhtan. So next week lah. Allah alam.
So this is riba.
Any question? Dah.
No,
This is riba aja.
If I look at Ali, that is riba.
He didn't see, right? If he didn't see, if he were to know about your whatever you speak, you talk about him or whatever you did, and if that gonna hurt, then it's considered riba. If it's true, if it's not true, then it's worse. It's slander. So that one, slander is the next level lah. Riba is the first level. As long as you know apa, not our level lah tu macam, because some ulama macam like a fellow Muslim, if they did something macam bid'ah, ahli bid'ah, it's not haram to, it's not considered riba to talk about the actions in the bid'ah. Macam, oh, these people are the Shi'i. We can say, oh, Fulan, he's a Shia. So people are aware, oh, okay. So people are aware not to follow him. But you don't say, oh, dah lah Shia pendek. Macam itu. Shia busuk. All these extras. You can say he's a Shia. But you must check first if he's a Shia. If not, you are slandering. If he's not a Shia, you say he's a Shia, then slandering. So you confirm Shia, he admitted or whatever, then you can say, oh, don't follow him as he's a Shia. That one is can. You can say that to prevent people from following or apa, be tricked, misled by this kind of people. But other than that, you cannot. You just keep quiet. Then like, or macam a Muslim who does haram things in the open. He don't care about. He drinks alcohol in public, and it's like it's a norm for him. Then that one you can also say in public, because macam, oh, I see Fulan drink, macam he always drink in the public and he don't mind, because that's not considered riba. Because if you tell him, if he heard, let's say I tell Ali, Fulan drink, Fulan drink, then if this guy heard what I told Ali, he wouldn't be upset, because he know he did it in public. So as long as it doesn't insult him, doesn't hurt him, then it's not considered riba. If it's gonna hurt him, then consider riba. But if you like was half, this one gonna hurt him or not, then don't say, because we have to take it as ihtiyat, don't. But it's like, if you say something good, then he wouldn't be hurt. But so if you say, oh, this boy is this person, oh, mashallah, he clever, not consider riba. It's behind his back, but it's something good, it's okay. So anything else? Dah habis lah. Apa? Okay, Allah alam. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا انفعنا بما علمتنا ربي علمنا الذي ينفعنا ربي فقهنا وفقه أهلنا وقربة لنا في ديننا وأهل الكتر أنثى وذكر ربي وفقنا ووفقهم لما ترتضي قولا وفعلا كرما وارزق الكل حلالا دائما وأخل أدقى علماء نحظى بالخير ونكفى كل شر ربنا أصلح لنا كل شؤون وأقر بالرضا منك العيون واقضي عنا ربنا كل الديون قبل أن تأتينا رسل المنون واغفر واستر أنت أكرم من ستر وصلاة الله تغشى مصطفى من إلى الحق دعانا والوفاء بكتاب فيه للناس الشفاء وعلى الآل الكرام الشرفاء وعلى صحب مصابه الغرر اللهم اهدنا بهداك واجعلنا ممن يسارع في رضاك ولا تولنا وليا سواك ولا تجعلنا ممن خلف أمرك وعصاك وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Aduh.